Okay, let's start with question number 1, and it's May-June year 2020, paper 5-2. A student plans to carry out an experiment to find out the relative molecular mass MR of a soluble acidic gas X by finding the mass of a measured volume of a gas X. Okay. Gas X can be prepared by the reaction between concentrated sulfuric acid and a copper. Okay, what they are saying that by the reaction of a copper and a sulfuric acid, the gas X is formed, and then what they did, that they have find the mass and the volume of that gas X, and by that they have find the MR. So that is the objective of this experiment. Two methods of gas collection are available to the student as shown. Okay. Explain why the first sample of gas collected from either apparatus should not be used for the MR determination of gas X. Yes, who can answer this? Yes, I think we already have discussed one such kind of a question. Which impurity? Good, but which impurity? Which other gas? From actually the air is there. So see, before the start of reaction, when we set up, this whole area is air in it, right? So when the reaction starts and the gases start forming, so first air travels and collected over there, and then the gas is followed. So the first collection would be most impure because of the air. Good. Okay. Is this clear to everyone? So I would write that in first collection of gas, there is air also in the container. Is this part is understandable? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, give two reasons other than your answer to A1 why for this experiment the apparatus in method A is less suitable than the apparatus in method B for collecting the sample of gas X. Okay. Now, first thing, which gas it can be? Which gas it can be in X? What do you think? If you are adding sulfuric acid and a copper. Yes. Any suggestion?
सर जो गैस होगी वो शायद वाटर सॉल्युबल है, इसलिए उसे वाटर से नहीं गुजारना चाहिए.
ठीक है. But my question was, what is the possibility of a gas X? What gas it can be?
तो सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड हो सकती है.
Yes, there is a possibility of sulfur dioxide because sulfuric acid and a copper metal is reacting. Normally, copper did not displace the hydrogen because of its lower reactivity, but here the redox reaction may occur. So, there is a possibility of a sulfur dioxide gas. So, this is an acidic gas because it's a non-metal oxide and it is water soluble. So, the one reason that I can write over here that the gas formed is water soluble so it can get dissolved. So due to its property of being a water soluble, make method A less appropriate or less useful for collecting gas. Is this clear? Yes, is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then reason 2. Yes. Method A, what can be a reason 2? So dissolve in water and react in water, the can consider them the same thing. The other thing, as there is a tube inside the water which is being collected. So if the gas continues to forming, there would be no issue because the bubbles are arising from the tube and the gas is collecting over here. But as soon as the gas starts, uh, you know, the formation of a gas start decreasing. So the water enters in this test tube and then it blocked the further gas to be collected. So we call this that it's a suck back. So we call there is a chance of suck back in method 1 because as the water is being sucked in the delivery tube. Yes, is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now next part. The student is told to use YouTube shown to find the mass of the sample of gas. Okay. 100 centimeter cube of a sample of a pure gas X is placed in a gas syringe. The gas syringe is then attached to a U tube containing small lumps of solid soda lime, a mixture of a sodium hydroxide and calcium hydroxide. So see that our first prediction that gas is SO2 can be right because SO2 is an acidic gas. So and here in this U tube we have a sodium hydroxide and calcium hydroxide which are actually basic in nature. So the gas actually get dissolved over here. So we can able to find how much gas is present. So all of gas is slowly passed into the U tube and the mass of gas absorbed determined. The temperature and the pressure of the room are recorded. State the measurements that are needed to determine the mass of gas X absorbed. So what measurements we need to do? What we have to find?
सर ट्यूब का mass और सोडा लाइम का mass एक्सपेरिमेंट से पहले भी और बाद में भी, क्योंकि जब गैस फिर उसमें से गुजरेगी तो फिर उसमें से माइनस करेंगे.
Yes, because initially this mass is lesser, but when the gas passed through it, the gas is absorbed in this soda line and the mass increased. So mass of U tube and soda lime before the experiment and mass of tube plus soda lime after the experiment. So we need to do these two measurements, and when we subtract them, we will get the mass of gas X. Is this understandable? Yes. So this why soda lime is used to absorb gas X. So from this, when we talk about soda lime, we can say soda lime is alkaline, right? Is basic, is alkaline. So that it can react with the gas or it can absorb the gas. Now C part. Gas X can cause respiratory distress. Okay. State an appropriate precaution that should be taken when doing this experiment. Yes.
Fume covered.
Yes. So we we do the experiment in the fume cupboard, so that if it's a toxic gas or a gas which causes the breathing problem, so it may be escape away. So
और सर मास्क नहीं लिख सकते क्या? हम मास्क पहन सकते हैं?
So how many of you, if we talk about in the lab, you are not alone, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
if you wear the mask for the time being, you can, stay away from its effect. But as you remove the mask, because the gas is not escaped to the environment, you would be affected.
ठीक है सर, थैंक यू.
Perform the experiment in fume cupboard. Now, D part. Experiment 1 is carried out at a temperature of 21 degrees Celsius. Okay. And a pressure of 9.8 exponent minus 4 pascals and uses 100 centimeter cube of pure gas X. Calculate the number of moles of X present in experiment 1. You should assume that the gas X behaves like an ideal gas, so you use PV is equals to nRT. They have given you the equation as well. So if I use PV is equals to nRT, I would make a N subject. So it would be PV over RT. The pressure that we use is in pascals. The volume that we use must be in a meter cube. So it's 100 centimeter cube. So times exponent minus 6 to convert into a meter cube. Divided by R, which is 8.31 multiplied by T. That temperature must be taken in Kelvin. So 21 plus 298. So can anybody solve me and tell me the answer? Sorry, it's 273, not 298. My bad. 21 plus 273 Kelvin.
Sir, 4.01 exponent minus 3.
4.01 exponent minus 3. Yes. Is this clear to everyone? Now you go away. See the time. Yes, 4.01 exponent minus 3 moles. Come here. The sample of gas X is found to have a mass of 0.251. Okay. The sample of gas X is found to have a mass of 0.251 gram. Explain how the student should use this information and their results to determine the MR of X. Yes.
सर जो हमने मोल्स निकाले हैं उससे डिवाइड करेंगे.
See, we got the moles, and for these moles, this is the mass, right? So I can relate that. Let me take the ratio that mole is to MR. Oh, sorry, mole is to mass. I can take this ratio that 4.01 exponent minus 3 is to 0.251. So if I have a 1 mole of this gas, then how much mass it could be? It is X, and that X would be the MR.
सर mass is mole नहीं, mole is mass upon MR को यूज करके नहीं निकाल सकते.
हाँ, वो भी हम कर सकते हैं. Yes, we can do as well. That mole is equals to mass upon MR, and we know we have to find the MR, so mass upon mole. So we can do this thing as well. Yes, either one is correct. So 0.251 divided by 4.01 exponent minus 3. Yes, what is the MR?
That is 62.6.
62.6. It's the MR. Yes, is this part is clear to everyone? Okay, in the next part, what they are saying? Not all of gas X is absorbed by the soda lime. State what effect, if any, this has on a student's calculated value of MR of gas X. Yes.
MR should be less.
What happens to the MR?
MR is more, the one he calculated.
State what effect, if any, this has on a student's calculated value of MR of gas X. So it means that the calculated value is actually the correct value, or the lower value, or the greater value.
Lower, right?
Yes, it's a lower value. Yes, what they are saying, this is the mass. See, this is the mass that we actually get to know as this is absorbed in soda lime. So they are saying that not all of the mass of soda lime is absorbed in soda lime. So it means the actual mass is not this, but bigger than this. Actual mass, it is the mass that is absorbed, but it is not the total mass that is absorbed. So the total mass would be actually greater than this. So if I take this over here, then the value of X that I would get over here, it would be greater. So the actual value is greater. So they are asking the student's calculated value of MR. So the calculated value of MR is actually no, it's a lesser than the actual one. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So the calculated MR of gas x is lower. Okay, it's lower than the correct one. Okay. Now fourth part. In experiment 2, the same mass of X gas X is used, but the student did not record the temperature and pressure. Okay. The calculated MR of X for experiment 2 is higher than the value of calculated by the student in experiment 1. State and explain how the value of P over T changes from experiment 1 to experiment 2. Number of moles degree. And if the number of moles are
Sir, कम होनी चाहिए value.
then pressure over T also decreases. See, in experiment 2, we are getting a greater MR. That's what they have told us. Right? So, if you look over here, if we get this value bigger, so it means these number of moles would be smaller. Now, if these number of moles would be smaller, so see, P over T is directly proportional to it. So P over T also gets smaller. Is this understandable to everyone? Yes?
Yes, sir.
So, what I can write that the value of P over T gets smaller because the N gets smaller due to greater or due to increase in MR. Is this understandable to everyone? In the next class, you will not hear by 3:15. I will not allow you. P5 के लिए भी आप इतनी देर से। Okay, is this clear to everyone? Now, next E part. State how the reliability of these results in experiment 1 could be improved. Take average. How?
Sir, repeat an average.
Yes, you have performed the experiment only once, so you have to repeat the experiment and then take the average. a different gas methylamine is an alkaline, state a change that would have to be made to the apparatus so that the MR of methylamine could be determined. Yes. Now the gas that we have to find the MR is alkaline now. Previously it was acidic. So what change we need to do over in the apparatus to absorb this alkaline gas?
Change soda lime.
सर जो
to
अल्कलाइन
sulfuric.
सोडा लाइन था उसको रिमूव कर देंगे और एसिड से रिप्लेस कर देंगे.
Yes. So what we have to do? This soda lime could be replaced by an acid because now the gas is alkaline. Is this clear to everyone? Okay. So here this paper is completed.
तो आपकी नाइट्रोजन कंपाउंड्स की एक बॉडी मेरे पास पड़ी है वो यूट्यूब पे नहीं है तो वो आप मुझसे लीजिएगा.
Is everybody completed till here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after this paper, so I have shared this file with you that we are going to do this paper, but I think we will start in this one
वो भी नहीं हार्ड कॉपी भी
in the next session. Okay, we will do this paper in the next session. Okay, take care everyone. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, sir.